Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the podcast this morning. We are day 2 at GaETC 2017 here in Atlanta. It's Thursday morning. It's a rainy Thursday morning. And I am fortunate this morning to be sitting here in the booth with Carlo and with Amber from Nearpod. So good morning,
good
guys.
morning.
Thanks for joining
Thanks
me.
for having us.
Good. Y'all get here all safe and dry?
Safe and dry.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect time of the weather. You got to see the leaves change and
Right?
Yeah.
And being from Miami, this might just be like home.
it's green all year. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rainy and green. So
Yeah.
you guys are at home. So before we get into talking about Nearpod and GaETC and all the cool things you got going about, tell me about Monday night. You guys, or what was last night? Wednesday night. Did you guys have a good time in Atlanta? Have you been to Atlanta before?
Yeah, we went to Midtown and we had a kind of a dinner with some of our key customers here.
Fantastic.
And so it was really nice.
Excellent.
And then the day before, I definitely talked to a local, and they gave us this Southern food spot.
All right.
And I'm still in a food coma. So
Do you want to give us a plug on Southern food? Where'd you go? Do you remember the name?
It was Big Daddy's Dish or something.
Big Daddy's Dish.
It was so good.
Come on. Well, they'll know who we're talking about. Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. I want to talk to you guys about Nearpod.
Sure.
About some of the things you got going on, because y'all are super popular right now in the teacher space. All right, so Carlo, why don't you tell us about your role with
Okay.
Nearpod?
Perfect. So I'm a regional sales manager and I cover the Southeast. So Florida all the way to Louisiana up to North Carolina.
Well, that's a big Southeast, all the way
Yeah.
to Louisiana. So you do New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
All
That's
right.
right.
New Orleans, Atlanta, Miami. How far north do you go?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay, you got any Charlotte, Mecklenburg users up there?
Yeah, we have quite a few teachers up there that are using.
Fantastic. I've done some work up there in Charlotte, Mecklenburg as well. So Amber, tell us, what is your role?
So I'm the teacher support specialist. What I do is I work with teachers and help them learn Nearpod and grow. Just in I give them best teaching practices, and I kind of generate that relationship with them, kind of put a face with the company. I also manage the Nearpod Teacher Facebook group. I'd love for y'all to join.
Fantastic.
And I manage the Instagram, and I just kind of dabble in different departments, and I really enjoy it.
Excellent. And you were a teacher.
Yes, I taught for 5 years in Waco, Texas.
Okay.
And home of Fixer Upper. I'm sure a lot of teachers know.
That's
Chip and Joe.
Chip and yeah.
Yes. And so they told me, hey, offices are in Miami.
Yeah,
So-
you just picked up and hightailed it out. What did you
Yeah.
teach?
I taught 3rd grade all subjects.
3rd grade.
Yes.
Oh, I sweat when I go into elementary schools.
Oh,
That
I
is
love
a
it.
different art.
Yes.
I applaud you. I was high school. I can manage 9th graders like it's going out of style, but 3rd graders, they make me sweat.
I love it. The little hugs.
I
and
cry
the-
more than them at the end of the day, I tell you. when I
Oh
go
my
into those
gosh.
schools.
Yeah, my last day I definitely cried with all of my kids, just because there's every day in the classroom is so different, and
Yeah.
you just generate that love for all of them. So
Fantastic. Well, for our watchers out there, our listeners that may not be familiar with Nearpod,
Right.
what is Nearpod?
Yeah, so Nearpod's a learning tool where we prepare students for tomorrow, because we know that the world today requires a different set of knowledge and skills, right? So we empower millions of students with 21st century content to infuse technology into instruction and transform learning experiences for them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dr. Diaz will be here today. Is she not coming today? She's not coming today. So, hashtag live at GaETC, anything can happen. So, Dr. Diaz, you are missed today by that lady. So, maybe next time. So anyway, Carlo, that's what we were talking about. You're telling us, so Nearpod is an interactive tool used in the classroom. We're engaging kids.
Right, so we're pairing with top-of-the-line content,
right?
But at the same time, give teachers the ability to formally assess instruction all in one fell swoop, right?
Fantastic. And how important is that today, formative assessment? So I was in a classroom last week, 4th grade, and I was working with a teacher who was going to do a Nearpod lesson. We were doing a math lesson. She was going to introduce a new unit, and they were dividing four digits, right? So 5 or 2,000 divided by 5, right? And she said, I'm going to use Nearpod, and I'm going to do this. And I was like, well, that's really cool. I said, are you going to collect, are you doing like a pre-assessment? Are you going to collect any data? She was like, well, last year we always did pre-tests. But it took so much time, and I was like, no. If you're using Nearpod,
it's just click and go.
Yeah.
It's click and go, and I think
quick. It doesn't have to be all day. A quick little 3, 4, 5 questions at the beginning of the unit as you're introducing something new.
Right.
Get those data points, and let's roll. It's quick and easy, right?
Yes, this is something that's so near and dear to my heart. I talk to principals and instructional technologists all the time, and I say, as that, admin, you want your teachers to formatively assess throughout the lesson.
Absolutely.
But you don't want them to just assess
Right.
because there's such a stigma with that. And with Nearpod, you're able to give them open-ended questions, multiple choice polls, and it's so interactive that the students don't feel that they're taking that pencil paper test.
Right.
And I don't know, it just gives just a lighthearted learning experience.
Absolutely.
And with that, Nearpod collects all of their responses on the student account. So I always tell teachers, you can pull individual or whole classroom reports to share with specialists, to share with parents during parent conferences, and you can't lose it because it's all online.
Right.
And that's my favorite because I always joke and say you spend so much time cutting the paper, printing the paper, even creating it yourself, and we've done it all for you.
Yeah, it's so easy. I love it. And
great.
that's exactly what I told this teacher. I was like, we don't need all day. We just need 3 or 4 minutes.
Done.
Get those data points.
Done.
I said, and those are the data points that administrators love to see and that parents love. When I was sitting down with parents, that big test, that's like a one little clip of who cares. We care right afterwards, but in a week, in a month, it's worn away. But those formative pieces, that's what paints the picture.
And you can assess whether are the students really learning what they're supposed to be learning, and as a teacher, are you teaching in the way you intended to teach?
Right.
And those quick checks can guide your instruction because you can determine, hey, the students really don't get it. But guess what? With Nearpod, I can, quickly go in and add in on the fly and adjust my instruction in real time, which is so powerful that you can't do in a traditional classroom setting.
Absolutely.
So often in the classroom, you're going to have students that are apprehensive to participate, right, and share their ideas.
Yeah.
When students' ideas are the most important thing in the classroom to share with each other.
Right.
And so Nearpod allows every student to have a voice, and the teacher to safely share that voice anonymously for us to kind of collaborate without them being.
Right. That anonymous piece is good for those students that don't want to be called out or signaled out.
Yeah.
And the teacher can use that. I love to be able to show an example of student work.
It's so powerful.
Right?
It's
The
so
kids are like,
powerful.
I'm not quite sure. You say, oh, well, let me look. Oh. Well, let's look at Amber's example.
Right.
Push it out to all the kids. Oh, now I get it.
Yes,
Pull it
exactly.
back, and then let them go to work.
That's right.
That's fantastic. So we're here in Atlanta. Can you tell us about Nearpod in Atlanta? Are teachers using Nearpod? Are schools using it? What's going on?
There's a huge presence of Nearpod here in Georgia in general.
Right.
We ran the numbers before we came here, and we found out there's about a little over 50% of teachers have signed up for Nearpod, at least the free version.
Right.
But then we have a big presence here with a lot of school districts like Fulton, Henry, Fayette County, who are county-wide with us.
Yeah.
And great partners with us. So
yeah, fantastic.
We have
I know I've got some schools out in Paulding County that have just recently bought licenses for their teachers as well.
Yeah.
Cobb County, all of the media specialists at Cobb County.
Atlanta Public Schools has their instructional technology team at the district level.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Great partners with
You're
us. Yeah, these are great partners with us.
We're talking about Atlanta.
Okay, yeah. So you were saying name dropping, and then that cut. Yeah.
So we'll just pick up somewhere in here. So those are a lot of school districts in the metro Atlanta area that are using Nearpod. So time for a little internal reflection, teachers. If you're not using Nearpod, I gotta ask you why right now, right? Come on. All right, fantastic. So. August I know is a big time in software and in hardware and in feature reveal for all of us in the EDU space, right? Because we always get new years that are coming up. Any new features that have been released to Nearpod that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, so we have a couple new features. One of them is Nearpod for subs.
All right.
Take the pain out of having a substitute.
Oh my goodness.
Go home if you're actually sick now, thanks to Nearpod.
Hashtag I hate subplans.
Yeah. So we allow teachers to be able to deliver their lessons in their absence and still capture all of the resources and data that they would be able to do if they were there.
And I know,
so easy.
As a teacher, I hated leaving because, you know, as much as I love subs, your students just don't act the same when there's a substitute there.
Right.
But when I have a Nearpod lesson going, and the students know, hey, I'm looking at all of their data thanks to Nearpod subs, they're going to be more, they're going to take more ownership in that learning because they know I'm coming back and I'm going to see what they did and didn't do, which is so powerful.
Absolutely.
We also have Ready to Run PD, which is for those who run professional development in their schools. We have partnered with top thought leaders like Conscious Classroom Management, and we have packaged all of these research-based theories into a collective inquiry experience that admins can click and run and give teachers an experience that, you know, how do I say it? They're going to actually gain, how would you say?
It takes the pain out of professional development.
Exactly, it takes the pain out of it. And I don't know how many meetings I used to sit in that I would kind of text on my phone with my teacher BFF, but this is actual, quality experience.
Right. Engaging teachers.
Yes.
At the same time, I think that's super nice for us. And at iTeach, we work with teachers. We started out in that traditional professional development space.
Sit and get.
Absolutely. And we've evolved into the coaching model.
Yes.
And I know a lot of our coaches use Nearpod on a daily basis when they're in buildings and in schools and in classrooms working with teachers because it is so nice.
Yep.
And the quality of the content that you guys have in there
so powerful.
And a lot of times it's hard to pull teachers out because of time, and we're talking about substitutes right now too. But these are 1 hour segments, so they can be done in professional.
During faculty meeting, maybe you have a half day and you want to just launch and teach. I mean, you can do that. You can self-pace them, but they're meant to be just coming together, brainstorming. So
It's ready to run. That's what
ready to
How many
run.
times have we talked about like flipping the model for professional development as well? Put a little bit of the control back in the teacher's hands.
Exactly.
Engage them where they are and with the tools and the resources they're actually using in the classroom. Absolutely. It's brilliant. Why didn't we think of this sooner?
Oh my God. Thanks, Nearpod.
And what about, I know you guys have just recently rolled out some new features for our English language learners.
Absolutely.
Can you talk to that?
So we have a couple great resources for newcomers, virtual tours where students going into, for say, a grocery store and clicking on the bananas and having that visual and audio there for them.
Giving those newcomers those survival skills.
Yeah.
It has almost like an immersive experience.
Immersive experience, right. Seeing the language that would happen in a grocery store, the videos of those. And then
and that's a real life piece of, we're not taking them out somewhere and teaching them words that maybe they're not going to use, but they're going to have to know how to navigate their way around a grocery store, right?
Someone who just comes into a new school and we have a virtual reality of their school for them.
Yes.
Those types of things are huge.
That's amazing. And I tell you, I share this story often with my coworkers and my colleagues. I taught 10th grade geometry one year, and I'm a social studies teacher by trade and by training. But the school said we need a geometry teacher for a semester. Will you do it? And I said, well, I'm good at math. I'll take the challenge. Whatever, I'll step up. I'll do it. I had 2 students in my classroom who were literally 2 weeks in America from China. Didn't know
and you want to connect with them.
of English. I don't know Chinese.
What are you going to do?
They just had that look on their face so much,
wanting to communicate with you and not having the ability to.
It tore me up because I didn't know how to serve them. This was years ago before we had a lot of the tools and the resources that we had now. But to be able to offer them an experience that they could
visuals that they can
interact with.
And it's only going to help their confidence skills in the classroom and then later on in life coming from another country. And so that's what I taught English language learners in my classroom as well. And so seeing this product, how much better of a teacher I would have been had these lessons existed. Because I also taught the little rural farm school with a lot of migrants. And so I don't know, it's still powerful.
And not just newcomers too, but we have resources for your long-term Ls. Introducing academic vocabulary, things that they may not have in a conversational language, right?
And it pairs Nearpod's interactive virtual reality experience with those formative assessments. Like, for instance, one of our academic meeting words is the word detail. And we talk to teachers and principals, why a word like detail? Well, if you can understand a word like detail, then when the teacher introduces it in an academic setting, main idea and details, now that reading comprehension, it's going to just make more sense.
Right.
And so I think all of those words are just so important for their understanding.
Fantastic. So Amber, you mentioned VR.
Yes.
I know Nearpod has got some VR stuff. Talk to us about some of your VR stuff.
So we have virtual reality where you can go anywhere you can think of, even outer space. And you can use our headsets, or you can use an iPad to have that same type of experience. However, we've launched VR Explorations, which is so cool. It's taking a virtual reality experience where the students are looking around, but now you can actually click to go to different parts of the area that you're at. For instance, think of it like a street view, and you click and then you go into one building, and then you can click out and go.
Yeah.
And so, and it's all tied into an academic meaning, because as much as I think as we hear virtual reality, even as a former teacher, you want it to have an academic meaning behind it. It's not just play.
Right.
And Nearpod has definitely done that for you. Nearpod has put virtual reality in an academic setting, and I think that's so.
I think it's about equity too, because not every kid gets to travel.
Right.
Exactly.
So now we give them the opportunity to see things that they normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's so important today. I'm glad you mentioned equity, Carlo, because that is one of our, I think, an underlying driving force in EDU right now.
Yes.
Is how do we ensure equity, and how do we make sure that that really seems to be one of those big divides these days. Is that equity piece, and to be able to provide the same experience for some kids in Southwest, very rural Georgia, who may not have the funds or the means, or even just a bus driver to take them somewhere. Now, they can go there with Nearpod and get that experience.
I taught at a little farm. When I said I taught at a little farm school, I was talking about the beach. Half my kids had never been to the beach. So you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go right now.
Right.
Miss Frizzle right here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. Well, that's all very exciting. Talk to us about headsets, because I know you guys have headsets. How do teachers get a hold of headsets?
So one way is to come by our booth right now and spin a wheel, and hopefully you can win a headset. But if
when you're done watching,
when you're done, stay to the end.
When you're done watching, of course, we give the headsets to our partners.
Right.
And so once you sign up for a school or a district, then we send out a box of headsets for you all.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And these are they're like cardboard headsets. So does Nearpod work if I've got my own headset at home? Will Nearpod work with that?
It'll work perfectly fine with any headset.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if I've got a Google Cardboard sitting around, or if
right.
I've got something like that,
you're good to go.
Just pop them in.
Yeah.
Your
don't
device
have to
in.
reinvent the wheel.
No.
Fantastic. So let's, one last question I want to ask. Future releases. So you got anything coming around the corner? You don't have to give anything away, but are there some exciting things coming up that as a teacher I'm going to be looking forward to seeing in my classroom?
Ooh, so our product team would be a little mad at us, so we'll tease it a little. But so, obviously, we integrate with some LMS systems like Schoology and Canvas, and there's another LMS system that we're in the works with. There's multiple, and so if yours is not seen, hopefully yours is next. We also have some great releases that have just dropped. I kind of just want to share that one.
Yeah,
if that's
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely.
So we now have the ability to record audio within your slide in Nearpod. So think of those students that have oral accommodations.
Right.
You're reading this read aloud, and you're reading this question, and you're in all directions, and now you can just record your voice within Nearpod, and you can be in multiple places at once, which I think is just going to help the teacher experience for the classroom.
I was always a fan of those types of when I was in the classroom, it was software chatting, because your kids, they trust your. It's not just you that they trust in the classroom, but it's your voice.
Yes.
And when you have someone else's voice on there, I think that there's a certain
disconnect.
a miss, right? Versus your voice.
Right.
I think that's so important that would, especially if you're integrating this in with the new sub feature,
Yes.
that students hear your
Exactly.
voice, even though they may not see you,
Give directions.
they hear you,
Yes.
and it hangs on a hook, and there's a trust factor.
You can embed your own
involved in
classroom
there.
culture and whatever you're.
Exactly.
It's your
doing.
language,
Yeah.
it's your words, it's your
Yeah.
vocabulary that that they're familiar
Exactly.
with.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's
It's
like
a nice feature.
one thing I love about Nearpod, and I have always stood by it, is that they create and constantly enhance the features with teachers in mind. So we listen to teachers when they ask for updates, and our engineers work so hard, and like this is a feature specifically that teachers have asked for, and we've
Right.
delivered. And
Right.
it just makes me so proud of the company.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. So for our viewers out there, our listeners out there, you've got them excited, all right? And they want to reach out. They want to get a school license. So, Carlo, how do our listeners get in touch with you if they want to talk about buying Nearpod, they want to upgrade their free account? What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, the perfect way would to be email me, carloa@nearpod.com, and then Amber here is great interacting with you all on social media.
Yeah, so if you still want to learn more about Nearpod as well, I encourage you can email me at amberc@nearpod.com. I'd love to help you grow with Nearpod. You can follow us on Twitter. You can also follow our Instagram. We love seeing how you're using Nearpod in the classroom, so if you hashtag Nearpod, we'd love to retweet it, repost it.
Fantastic. So all your social medias, we're at Nearpod. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Nearpod. Tag them, hashtag them. Share your success stories out there, guys.
We wanna hear
We
it.
love seeing them as well.
And we love interacting with you all.
Absolutely,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. So any parting words, any final thoughts, anything you want to say?
Just thank you for trying out Nearpod, and we love you guys.
Fantastic. There you go. Amber loves you. So, Carlo, Amber, thank you so
Appreciate it
very
so
much
much.
for coming and
Yeah,
sitting down with
of
us.
course.
And we look forward to seeing all the new and exciting features and everything that Nearpod's got coming.
We appreciate your time. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All right.
Cheers. All right, guys, there you go. We'll be back in a minute.